basically just talk.
Alrighty, so what we're going to be talking about today is lack of effort in the workplace. Everywhere you work, everywhere you go, any job that you get, there's going to be some type of slacker there, someone who's going to try and bring the group down, who's going to try and make them, basically bring them down, make them worse. But we need to, we're going to try and talk about ways to prevent this and make sure those people get full effort at all times. So with your line of work, guys, what would you say is an example of lack of effort in the workplace?
For us, it's more like not completing our duties, our daily duties.
Yeah,
And people try to say that us being busy or or doing other trainings and stuff like that is what prevents us from not doing our duties. But I mean, we're here for 24 hours, so it's
yeah,
they say we're here for 24 hours. Doesn't matter what time you have to work and clean and do your stuff. So lack
yeah,
of effort, it's like people that they just get tired and they're just like, man, I'm just gonna skip that for the day and move on. But that stuff starts to add up around the station when you have dust and dirty floors and stuff like that because people aren't doing their jobs.
oh yeah, for sure.
And the biggest thing really is, and that causes friction between, we work 24-hour shifts, and there's 3 different shifts.
Yeah,
So when people start getting a little lazy, every morning shift, there's more and more friction, and then that just kind of snowballs. So we
yeah,
try and make sure that we always do our work. But yeah, just having lazy people around isn't a.
exactly. You explained it perfectly. Snowballs. It just within in the line of work that I'm currently in right now. Currently, I'm just working at a restaurant. I'm bussing tables and everything. And if people aren't giving effort and people are being lazy, leaving stuff around, leaving stuff in the dish pit, then that sucks for me because then I got to take care of that. I got to do that. It gives me extra work. So then I have to go, confront them, be like, hey man, we got to start working harder. We got to work as a team out here because if we don't work as a team, we're going to be slower, and it'll make the food come out slower and make tables get less slower and everything. And it basically just a snowball effect, like you said. And if there's a bunch of people that aren't doing their job, then other people got to try and pick up the slack, and or maybe we got to talk to them, maybe confront them, be like, hey, we got to start doing our work, we got to start doing this, all right?
Yeah, I can relate to working in a place where the shift change. So I work in the morning, and then the night shift comes in. I
Yeah.
work in the art department of like a printing company. We print
Sure.
on huge machines, like on promotional products and stuff. So I work in the art department, and
Yeah.
so the next morning when I come in, there's just like a bunch of work on my desk, and that gets frustrating. And like there's emails that you have to reply to that they were there. They could have replied to those emails, but they get lazy or they're tired or they work on other things that are less important. And I could relate to that, like picking up the slack for other people.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Good job. Okay. So, what do you think the biggest problem in the workplace is in what do you think will cause the biggest problem when people aren't doing their job? Like what can be what's the cause and effect of someone not doing their job, basically?
Uh, Dirtiness, arguments.
Yeah.
Arguments is a big one. Uh, um, Customer satisfaction.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
People aren't working up to their full potential.
Yeah,
You definitely lead to customers not being satisfied, all that stuff.
yeah.
Where
Yeah.
I work, oh, go ahead.
You can go ahead, go ahead.
Like he said, pretty much the biggest thing with us is our job relies a lot on teamwork. So when people start slacking, that causes a lot of friction between the whole teamwork aspect, and then it kind of breaks the chain a little bit. So when we're on scene and stuff, sometimes uh, a lot of times after we run calls and stuff, we have to make sure everything's restocked.
Yeah,
If
for
you're
sure.
on scene and something's not there that's supposed to be there, it can be really bad for us.
Oh yeah.
So we have, that could cause someone to get seriously injured or cause
Def-
time. So
Definitely.
Where I work, all of our artwork has like ship dates. So things that people are ordering and like artwork that they need has like a certain date that it needs to be out. So if someone doesn't do something they were supposed to do during their shift and maybe we don't see it, things can be late and it essentially can cost the business money over time.
Yeah,
And that's
for sure.
a big thing.
Yep.
And what are a couple ways that we can do to prevent this from happening? Prevent people from not having, or prevent people from lack of effort and not doing their job and doing all that. What are some ways that we can prevent that?
I like being prepared for the next person. So I like if if you set up the next crew that's coming in, or in her case, the next shift that comes in. If you set them up in a good situation, then hopefully they can see that and set you up in the same situation when it's your turn to come in.
Exactly. I think that could be leading by example.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Leading by example.
Another thing is I find that people that are new to the job, they like mess up a lot or they forget to get stuff done. And I feel like instead of getting angry, maybe like asking them why didn't they get it done?
Exactly.
What were they confused about? Is there anything we can do to help you make sure you get everything done? Do you have any questions? Stuff like that.
For
Try to
sure.
encourage them.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Yeah, open communication is a big thing.
For sure. It's good to have a boss that, like, you don't want to have the boss that if they're trying to tell you to work hard, and you want to have the boss that kind of leads you. He'll show you how to do it. He'll do that instead of like getting mad at you right away. Not just he'll get right on you. You want a boss that will, be like, hey, so this is how we do it. This is how you got to make sure you do this before this person comes in. You got to make sure you get this stock, this done, instead of like yelling at them and saying like hey, we got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this, that. You see someone who's a leader rather than a boss, I believe.
Yeah.
They're going to try and prevent people from lack of effort, because there's a lot of people that shut down when we kind of learned about this earlier in the year with this class. There's a lot of people, it's the you versus I language. There's a lot of people that shut down when you use you and you're just like yelling at them rather than leading them and showing them, guiding them the way, showing them how to, do everything, get everything done.
Yeah, I think that's important. But then also, I feel like if someone keeps like making the same mistake over and over, or keeps not doing their job correctly, I feel like it's important to report it and like ask the management to like talk to that person one-on-one and like make sure they're okay, make sure they're not confused about anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it could get annoying if you have to keep telling someone the same thing over and over.
Mhm.
Yeah, another one is overworking, getting burnt out too. Because the guys, everybody, when you just work so much constantly, like there comes a point where you're like, man, I'm just burnt out and I just want to sit down. Especially when we're here for 24 hours, it's like if we work for, like 7 hours straight, it's like to us that's a lot because we're here for 24 hours.
Yeah.
7 hours straight for us is like, we like to take a lunch break and try to sit down for an hour and try to regather ourselves and rebuild ourselves to then after lunch start working again and doing whatever we have to do, whether it's training or our duties and stuff, to rebuild our energy. So overworking is a big thing because some of the people, they like to just work straight through lunch, and you're like, what about eating?
What about food? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I work with some people like that too, where they just stay at their desk. I'm like, go walk, like get out.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, you have to clear your mind, especially when you're doing the same thing all day.
Yep.
I deal with the same problem. Just yesterday, I had to basically work straight through from like 10:30 all the way to like 2 in the morning. And all I do in my job is just walk around, do laps around the restaurant, cleaning that, restock the bar, all that. And I got to make sure I get my job done, or else I'll screw over one of the other busters. If I screw over one of the other busters, then he'll be like, oh, if I get screwed over, I can screw someone else over, and then it'll just be like a domino effect.
Yep.
So if you do your job, other people could do their job. They'll take the example.
Yep.
We're covered in the workplace.
I really like the idea of like setting the next shift up, because leading by example, I really like that, because if they'll think like, oh, they got all their work done, they didn't leave anything for me to do,
Exactly.
and then maybe they'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna do that to them.
Exactly. they'll be like, oh, I like that person. I'm gonna make sure I get everything done. I'm gonna work a little extra harder for that person. Make sure I have everything ready if they were before you and you're about to come in.
Hmm.
It's good.
Cool.
Sounds good.
I think we basically covered everything. We did pretty good on the subject. Basically, I can't think of anything else. So good job, guys.
Thanks a lot.